Welcome to the Reconnection Club podcast, the show that helps parents heal troubled relationships with their adult sons and daughters. I'm your host, psychotherapist Tina Gilbertson. Each week, I'll offer you compassion, clarity, and personal development tips designed to help you reconnect, not only with your child, but with yourself. Now let's get started. The question of whether and when and how parents might apologize to their estranged adult children is complicated. Too complicated, in my opinion, for apologies to be treated as a basic first step for parents seeking to reconcile. As I described recently in episode 175, there's often preparation to be done before parents reach out to their estranged adult children in any way. That's why apologies are a step 3 activity on the Reconnection Club roadmap, rather than a step 1 or 2 activity. Based on both existing research and my ongoing clinical experience with unwillingly estranged parents and sometimes their adult children, I've gleaned at least 9 truths that I'm convinced of regarding apologies from parents to adult children, and I'll list them in no particular order. Number 1, you might not need to apologize at all. Although many estranged adult children say they would appreciate an apology from their parents, others have no such need. They just want their parents to do X or Y or to understand Z, and that's good enough for them. If you feel a strong need or desire to apologize, keep listening. Number 2, if you believe that a heartfelt apology will put an immediate end to the estrangement, you will probably be disappointed, I'm sorry to say. I listed some typical apology responses in episode 124, the most common being, in my experience, continued silence. Number 3, apologies are a relationship repair tool, but tools need materials to work with. The material that apologies work best with is change, and change takes time. Your adult child knows this, and for that reason, I offer number 4, try not to be in a hurry to apologize. Your adult child knows that if you're promising to listen, to be supportive, to ask more questions or fewer questions, whatever the change you're promising to make, they know you can't do it overnight. None of us can, even if we want to. Genuine change requires time, so apologies can also take their time. Number 5, estrangement isn't necessarily due to a lack of forgiveness. If estrangement is a form of self-protection, as most of the research indicates, it could be that your child has already forgiven you, but they're keeping their distance because of some specific concerns about current and future contact. To have the greatest influence in your relationship, focus your energies on allaying their concerns rather than receiving their forgiveness. Number 6, don't apologize for divorce. Effective apologies are for something that happened between you and your child or children. Make sure your apology is about them and your relationship with them, not with someone else. Even if your child was affected by your divorce, and most likely they were, most adult children don't complain about a divorce per se, but about how they experienced their relationship with their parent or parents before, during, or after a divorce. For more about this point, listen to episode 44 at reconnectionclub.com/44. Number 7, if you don't know what to apologize for, then an apology is either premature or unnecessary. Study the topic of parent-adult-child estrangement. Learn about the kinds of things that go wrong in those relationships, regardless, unfortunately, of parents' intentions or efforts. And reflect on your own experience. To me, that's a better use of your emotional energy than crafting an apology by rote. Inside the Reconnection Club, we have educational materials to help you go from clueless to savvy, including a course on how to write a good apology if and when the time comes. Number 8, Not all apologies must be in words. Actions famously speak louder. And there are many actions parents can take as a show of remorse and goodwill. Getting into individual therapy to examine and heal from emotional wounds that cause problematic behaviors. Joining a local chapter of PFLAG to learn how to better support your LGBTQ+ adult child. I'll put a link in the show notes to that. Reading a book that your child recommended. Respecting a no-contact request even though it's difficult for you. All of those actions and many others can be eloquent apologies in themselves. And number 9, when apologizing, avoid talking about your intentions or your feelings. It may feel natural to say, "It was not my intention," or to end with, "I miss you," or "I hope you can forgive me," or "I'd love for us to talk about this." It's perfectly okay to share those feelings and thoughts with me, with other parents, with your spouse, your friends, or anyone else you trust with them. You might even share them with your child one day. But apologies are not the right occasion for talking about your experience. I'll go through those 9 points again. Number 1, you might not need to apologize at all. 2, even a good apology won't necessarily put an immediate end to estrangement. Number 3, apologies are a tool and change is the material. Number 4, don't be in a hurry to apologize. You won't get points for speed, and you might even lose some. Number 5, estrangement doesn't necessarily indicate a lack of forgiveness. Number 6, don't apologize for a divorce. Instead, find the pain points between you. Number 7, if you're not sure what to apologize for, don't apologize yet, or maybe at all. Number 8, not all apologies have to be verbal. Start letting your behavior speak for you and trust that your actions will come to light at the appropriate time. And lastly, number 9, during an apology, avoid talking about your intentions or desires. I'll end with just one more suggestion. Try to get in touch with your reasons for apologizing. Are you trying to heal your child's pain for them? Are you seeking relief from intolerable feelings of your own? Do you need to be understood or to protect your reputation? Are you anticipating that a good apology will end the estrangement? All of this is perfectly fine to experience and notice and label with compassion for yourself. I talked about the importance of labeling in episode 168. You are a person in pain right now. If you're seeking relief, that's understandable. Just be aware that apologies have the greatest impact when it's clear they're intended solely as gifts, with no emotional strings attached. When you can give with no expectation or hope of return, then you will have fulfilled the beautiful promise of a truly good apology. To experience what it's like to receive one of those, try the exercise outlined in episode 115 before you apologize. That's at reconnectionclub.com/115. Until next time, remember that you are a loving, lovable, and still growing human being. So please take good care of yourself. Bye for now. If you've enjoyed this episode of the Reconnection Club podcast, I invite you to check out reconnectionclub.com. The Reconnection Club is for parents at any stage of estrangement from their adult, child, or children. So whether you've just realized there's trouble between you, you've been living with estrangement for years, or you're newly reconciled but still walking on eggshells, the Reconnection Club is your essential resource for information, support, and continued personal growth. With our courses and workshops, expert interviews, monthly Q&A calls, and a friendly, active community, the Reconnection Club is a wonderful place to be for anyone suffering the pain of estrangement from an adult, child, or children. So check it out at reconnectionclub.com.